Hello, I'm Euge Valovirta, and on this video I will compare standard Boss SD-1 Super Overdrive with a SD-1w aka Waza Craft, the latest version of the pedal. So stay tuned. So, yeah, I've been asked to do a comparison of these two pedals, and especially one where I'm boosting already an overdriven amp to achieve that chunky heavy/metal tone, which, including myself, I do. So, yeah, the amp is Marshall JZ Maynard 2203, and it sounds without boost like this. So your basic nice rock tone there. Okay, without further ado, the original, this is from 80s, made in Japan, black label. That's the black label on the bottom. I have a newer one on my board, which I bought on Cyro's last European tour, because this is starting to wear out. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but there's tapes everywhere. All the screws been somewhere. It's really. So I thought that it's time for it to retire from touring life, and I bought a new one, maybe made in Taiwan, 40 euros, 45. Sounds the same. I mean, maybe there's some difference, I don't know, but when I hooked it up on my pedal board, some guy didn't notice anything, and neither did I, so they're the same, basically. Okay, so then the Waza Craft. To me, they are almost the same. I mean, this Waza Craft, now this is in the standard mode, so the Waza mode isn't included, but according to Boss, this standard mode is like a updated version of this. I don't know if you can hear it. I mean, I'm listening now with the Genelec speakers. No difference, but when I listen with headphones, I think the old one, maybe it cuts a bit more low end, and maybe there's a bit more like highs. I think this Waza Craft on the standard mode is maybe a little bit smoother, but really, I mean, I played on this on my board on Cyra. There's not that much of a difference, but let me switch back and forth them, and I'll just play the same simple D chord. maybe there's really subtle difference, but basically they are the same. But said that, I still prefer the old one. There's something, I mean, I guess on alone when you're not playing the band, when it's not in the mix, this maybe sounds a little bit better, fuller, but then this kind of cuts better through. There's something, you know, hard to explain. Some mojo. But playing wise, they feel pretty much the same. But the real difference comes when we switch the, and you know, the settings are both, it's like level 4 o'clock, drive 8 o'clock, tone 1 o'clock. That's kind of my usual settings. So we're just gonna use that because, I mean, yeah, this isn't about different sounds from SD, this is how they differ, and yeah. But I can do another video where I show different things, but now this is for metal boosting, and I think this setting is at least my favorite to boost an amp. Okay, now standard SD, and then SD Waza Craft with the custom setting, which is kind of the Waza Craft setting. So let's hear how would that sound. Waza? So, I mean, usually when I've been recording albums, because I don't really have a separate lead sound, so usually, like, if I need to have a little bit more gain on solos, I just dial a little bit more drive. But with this pedal, I think this is really cool. The rhythms, how I would and how I've used this is I play with the standard, which is basically like this. And then for the leads, if I feel that I need a little bit more meat, I'll put it to custom, because as you probably heard, it doesn't cut the low end that much. It has a bit more gain. So it's basically fuller sounding. So kind of like a modded SD-1, which I think it is. Okay, let's do a couple of something in drop D. So I'll you can hear it. The noise gate was quite. yeah, like I told, I prefer the standard or the original for rhythms, and the custom mode could be cool for leads if you want a little bit of fuller sound. But then let's take a little bit thinner sounding guitar, like a Telecaster. Because sometimes the SD original one could be a little bit, oh, it's in tune, a little bit harsh maybe. So let's do a comparison without anything. The original. The Waza with the custom mod, the Waza mod. Oh, excuse me, there's a lot of distortion. You know, single coils are not the best ones for this. Let's turn the gate a bit more. So yeah, conclusion, SD, when using that you boost already an overdriven amp, in this case it was a Marshall, and the signal says then from the Marshall it goes to the SIR IR load, where I have now a Marshall 1960 B 4x12 cabinet loaded with vintage 30s. Pretty classic. The SD-1 is the original one, in my opinion, works the best with darker sounding Les Paul type of guitars. The Waza works, doesn't really work with rhythms. I think there's too much going on, even if you back the gain and levels, but then you kind of lose the meaning of overdrive. So I think the custom mode, you know, especially down-tuned guitars, that the ESP was in D, it just gets a little bit too much. But for leads, for sustaining leads, and you know, have that low-end punch to notes, works really well. But with the single coils, I think the Waza works well. While we're on it, let's just low input, and now the sound is basically clean, and you know, why not? So those were when the amp is distorted, and you heard. And now its amp is clean. Okay, SD-1. Waza. As you hear, they both work well, but I think the Waza makes it sound a little bit fuller and not so, you know, piercing. Hey, I think that was it. Hopefully this answered your questions, what you came looking for, and if it did, please thumbs up and subscribe, and until next time, take care, bye.